Go live.
Yep, I just got that notification.
Okay.
We are live.
Streaming live, that's what it's telling us, yeah. So let me make sure that I don't have, so hopefully everybody is here with us. They're gonna start joining us. So, hey, I thought, here, this would be fun because we wanna wait until we get a group of following, right? So if I can get my cards to cooperate, let's pull some cards. Let's get into the tarot of things while we're waiting for everyone to come join us. All right. So hello, everybody that is watching this later. This is Judy Kauku, who's joining me from Australia. She's my counterpart in Questioning Daniel. She's got all the stuff going on. And we've got Positive Pink, Flipside, Corey, Lucy, Sarah. Let's go, girls and boys. We've got everybody in here. Christina, Crystal, Marcella. Yeah, you guys are all just flooding in, and that's awesome. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards while we're waiting for a few more people to come in, and then we're going to start the questions. I have Judy from Australia with me. Okay, Two of Swords. Somebody's trying to make a decision. All right. Oh, thank you, Positive Pink. That's awesome. And so, Judy, if that happens, if anyone donates while we are live, please shout out to them, because if my eyes are closed, I won't be able to see that. So
I won't have that on my screen either.
Oh, you don't have that on your screen?
No.
Okay, you guys. Well, I'll do my best to recognize you if that is the case. So thank you, Positive Pink. You are amazing. I love the cute little. There's a little cartoon character jumping up and down. So that's awesome. Thank you. All right. So Two of Swords. We've got Two of Swords. Somebody's making a decision. You're at a crossroads. Something's happening, but there's something that you're hanging on to. So I think that's making it harder to make the decision. There's something being held on to. Let's keep going here. Yeah, it's keeping you from a desired outcome, some stability, some growing and expansion, something that you're passionate about. So how fun. Okay, so this is upside down. We want that right side up. So we're just going to change the energy because we looked at it, so now we can change it, right? So that's how that goes. Okay, going back in here. Hello, Sleeping Gun, Sarah, Gail, Tony, Jim, Shauna, Bonnie, Julie. All right, you guys, some of those names I recognize for people who have questions on our question list. So that'll be fun, you guys. We're going to dive into that. Okay. So whatever it is that you're facing, whatever it is, so we're just playing a little bit until we get some people in here, and we want to get our crowd together here. So I'm going to play with cards until I get the go. Okay, so somebody's trying to make a decision. You're at a crossroads. You're hanging on to something that you see has potential, a lot of potential, and you're hanging on to it, but it's keeping you stuck. You want to be here and in this brightness, in this expansion, and in this growth, but okay, so we want to get us to this point. We want to get us into this fiery energy. So this could be a theme for a lot of people going on right now, where we're trying to make positive changes, but we're having a hard time letting go of something that we thought we wanted to manifest. Look at all the gold in that, right? So what I'm going to say here is, it's not that this isn't going to happen. You just have to let go of how you think it was supposed to happen, so that you can expand the mind and give the universe the opportunity to bring it to you, so that you can step into your emotional fulfillment. So you can step into the world is at your fingertips, right? So you can step into this expansion. Oh, and for some of you, that could be a lover's situation. Nice. Okay. Who else we got in here? I love your energy too, Positive Pink. Thank you guys for being in here, and let's get this ball rolling. So Judy, how was your day?
My day is just starting.
That's right. It's morning for you.
It's starting off beautifully.
It's the kickstart.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Judy is going to be asking the questions that all of you guys put down. Yes. And okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of questions. So we're going to get through as many as we can. Judy's going to check in with me at about the 1 hour mark, if that's okay, and make sure that, see if I want to keep going or not, or if Daniel's ready to keep going or not. You know, it does, at some point, sometimes I just hit that I'm done. And so we're going to just check in to make sure. So we're going to get as many of these questions answered as possible. That is the goal. We love that you guys are here supporting the Daniel messages and supporting me, supporting Judy being here as well. If you guys are from Australia, we do have a lot of people from Australia that do follow the channel. Judy is a QHHT practitioner. So Judy, tell everybody how they can reach you.
I'm on the qhhtofficial.com site, listing level 3 listing in Victoria, and also my website is mylifespurpose.com.au.
Yay! All right. So, yeah, definitely a wonderful practitioner. All kinds of fun and explosive things happening in QHHT, right? And
right.
I actually had a really fun client the other day that he came in and I didn't know what, I never know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And I've had some really interesting ones. So, I could go on for a while just on that stuff alone. But this guy spoke at UFO conferences and all kinds of goodies. So, yeah, that was some fun.
Right.
Yeah, that was like, I felt like I had a front row seat to the UFO conference with all the stuff that he was telling me that he's experienced with different beings and ships and all kinds of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I think we get to work the best jobs in the world. So, that's something too.
We sure do.
Yeah, so very fun. Okay, as we
very mind stretching.
Exactly. All right. Oh, you know what? That's very fun that you guys are putting where you're from also. We got like Montana and Oregon. We've got Arizona. Let me see if anybody else has put that in there. That's fun. Scotland. Hello, Dee from Scotland. Sweden, Montreal. You guys are fun. Thank you for putting all that on there. If you're watching this at a later date and wanted to put where you're from down in the comment section, that's fun as well. Appreciate all of you. Okay, it's time. I'm gonna go get Daniel, and we're gonna see what Daniel has to say, and hopefully we get some really great answers today. I'm a little nervous. All these questions.
There's a lot.
Judy and I were talking about how much energy is already here, how I was just feeling as we logged on to the video ourselves. So let's go find out what that's all about. What's the buzz about? Okay. One of the things we want to say about what is the buzz? What is the buzz all about? A lot of you are figuring out. You're making decisions, just like in the tarot cards that were pulled, and there was a decision. Somebody's at a crossroads making a decision. There are a lot of you changing timelines right now, and you're going to feel the comfort and discomfort of changing those timelines. You're going to be moving into some new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of being, new opportunities, giving you a choice. When you make your choice, you pick a timeline, you choose a timeline. And so that's some of the buzz in the air. There's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of choices being made, a lot of decisions coming forward. Some of them are with relationships, some of them are with work, with moving to new locations. There's a lot of buzz in the air. There's a lot of things. A lot of people are being asked to move at this time. They're getting uncomfortable and feeling unsettled in the locations that they are in because it's time for them to move. And we say to you, as we talk about these things, we've talked about them before. And what we're showing, or what we're being shown, is that everyone is a sound, a frequency, a vibration, if you will. And when you move certain vibrations together, they amplify. or they become the orchestra, as you might think of, or color codes that are very significant for the area that they are in. And so it is like little chess pieces. You are being moved around to bring in frequencies, vibrations, and whatever else you bring to this planet with all your juicy goodness. And we bring that in. Now we have a special treat for you today, and we want you all to focus your attention over on Judy, because Judy is going to answer a question about the Ashtar today. Did you see the face she just made? And so that was Tracy doing that more than it was us. We won't put you on the spot like that, Judy, but we do want to announce to everyone, all the world that's watching right now, in the future, look for Judy. She'll be bringing her messages through as well, because she is the commander of an Ashtar collective. And we are very lucky to have her here with us today. And we're very excited to bring forward all of your questions and as many of those answers that we can, and in hopes that we will bring some resolution to not just the one who's asking the question, but for all of those who are listening, that there will be answers held in each of these questions for everyone. So let's go ahead and get started with that, unless there's something else you want to say around being a commander of the Ashtar collective.
No, we'll just pass on that at this point. Thank you, Daniel. You really put me on the spot then.
Maybe just a little, but sometimes the mama bird just kind of gently nudges them out of the nest, and sometimes they give them the boot. And, you can figure out where we were in that.
Okay, so on to the questions. The first one is from Donna, and she'd like to know, what is the best way to give healing to ourselves and others?
Well, that one could be a very quick answer, we suppose. The best way to give healing to self and others is through the frequency of love. And we're going to expand on that, because that seems almost too simple, right? Just frequency of love, that's all it takes to heal. It is. When you are in the love frequency, then that drops away the pain, that drops away. And there's so many different frequencies of love in your earth experience, in your third dimensions. So we want to say, move yourself into a space of unconditional self-love and love for others. You'll move into a much quicker and easier way. One of the things you need to do also, let's just say there's an emotional piece to what needs to be healed. And a lot of times we get trapped, and we're finding a lot of this conversation comes up quite often. So if this has already been spoken about, we apologize if it's a repeat, but somebody needs to hear it. It is very important to be honest with yourself. If you're not going to be honest with everyone else, at least be honest with yourself, because you can go through denial. You can go through denial of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you want for life, what it is that you want moving forward, because you're trying to please everybody else. Or you think that if I want this, then I'm an ego, that I'm being greedy, that I'm being selfish. Well, you're only being greedy and selfish if you want that item so that you can show it off to everybody else and rub it in their noses. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's okay. But let go of the judgment about it. Let go of judgment around anything. Whatever it is that you want, or that you are seeking, or that you want to be honest about. Maybe you were not very nice to somebody. And maybe you're trying not to look at that piece because it's hard to look at the fact that you played a part in what happened in a relationship that collapsed. Or maybe it's hard to look at something that happened to you as a child. Maybe there was abuse. Maybe there's something there. But we say to you, if there is a chronic pain, if there's chronic things happening for you, you need to look deep, and you need to get very honest. And maybe you're trying to deny that something hurt your feelings. Maybe you're trying to move past something that was explosive for you in your life. And you're just thinking, if I just pretend it didn't happen and keep moving forward, that's going to be okay. But we want you to sit with what's going on. What are the true feelings around it? What is the truth, your truth around it? What did it mean to you? Where is that all coming from? It is time to get very, very honest about what is happening in your life and what is the pain. You can look at the pain. Is it in the shoulder? Is it in the leg? Is it in the foot? Is it in the hips? And then look that up. Find out what part of that body, what does that represent? What are you shouldering? What's the pain in the neck? What's the pain in the butt? As you move forward through things and you figure it out, and be honest. Sometimes people just feel guilty that they want to do something outside of their own family, outside of their spouse and their children. Sometimes they resent the people that they are taking care of because they want to be doing something else. And so be honest with the fact that you resent that. Be honest that you feel stuck. Feel honest that you would rather be doing 20 other things than being the caretaker in this situation. There is a lot of honesty that once it is out, it feels so much better. It feels so much better. Now, don't be perpetuating that situation either, though. Now you know what it is. Now, ask Spirit to help you find the solutions. What can I do to have a win-win situation? How do I have these people over here that I love and care about be taken care of while I'm also doing something I really want to do and would love to do? And look for the options, look for the solutions, look for the answers. Healing the body. The body talks to you all the time. What does it need to know? What does it want you to know? Maybe you need to do some more positive self-talk around the body. Thank the body for the work it does. Talk to it. Ask it, why are you feeling pain? What's happening? Are you grieving? Are you sad? Are you hurt? Are you feeling neglected? Are you feeling ignored? What is it? Talk to your body. So there are lots of ways to do the healing. There is no right or wrong answer. If you feel intuitively moved to run energy, to sit in a hot bath, to go for a walk in nature, to just surround yourself in a love bubble while you're meditating, whatever your process is, if that is your intention to heal, then you're doing it right. So hopefully that was a more elaborate answer for a simple answer of surround yourself in love. Yes.
That was a very expansive answer and went into several directions that everybody can gain something from. So thank you for that.
We certainly hope everybody is being able to take something from each of these. Yes.
I'm sure. Kimberly would like to know what we should do as a collective or what we should know going into 2022.
Fabulous question, isn't it? Everybody wants to know what is in store for 2022. How exciting this time ahead. We get excited about all of it because we can see that you are in this tremendous time of change. Tremendous time of change. Everything is changing. It cannot not change. Your life is changing. The world around you is changing. The environment is changing. Everything is changing. Your food is changing. Everything is changing. So what does 2022 look like? Well, the twos, Tracy says, the twos are all about having the faith. Keep the faith that it is all going in the right direction. You're going to see evidence of this change in 2022. You're going to see advancements in some of the technology as it starts to get released, and a little bit more of that comes out into the light. It is not all going to be a flash flood of, oh, here it all is all at once. Right now, here you go. Now the world's going to be in this place and you get to move forward now. But it is going to be a big step forward. We know that you have all been feeling very stuck the last couple of years, that the whole pandemic has been putting people in a holding pattern. Judy knows that more than anybody, we think. And this holding pattern has been a very repressed feeling. And we want you to feel this energy. Let's just play a little game. You all were in a bomb shelter down under the earth, and you're finally getting to come up and open the doors and get that breath of fresh air. Oh, how wonderful that feels as you come out of this shelter that you have been sitting in for months and months and months now. You're coming out. Take that breath of fresh air. Now, there's a rebuild that will need to happen, isn't there? And so there's some healing that needs to happen. So in 2022, you're going to see a lot of healing. You're going to see a lot of changing. You're going to see more collapsing. You're going to see more exposure. Things are going to get exposed. You're going to see everything you ever believed in. You're going to find it to be whatever it's going to be for you, but you're going to see truth behind it. You're going to see truth behind religion. You're going to see truth behind the government. You're going to see truth behind the medical systems. You're going to see a lot of truth coming out. You get to decide what you do with that information. But for some of you, it's going to feel like your whole world that you ever thought you knew is just crumbling all around you. Might feel scary at times, but we want to tell you it has to do this. This is a pattern. This is the path that it has to take. This is the journey to something new. This is the take the fresh breath of air and move out of that container and let it expand. Recreate, renew, rebirth, and let it just bring beautiful new outcomes for you. Get excited about it. Even if it looks like hell itself broke loose in your world, get excited about it. Wow, this looks really bad. That means something really good's going to happen, right? Try to join us in the joy, because when you can get out of the fear, when you can get out of that feeling of doom and start looking at the spark of life that's being offered to you, start looking at the journey that is being presented in front of you, yeah, it's all going to look different, and the comfort zones are going to get rattled, and you're not going to be able to just stay in what you're doing now. You're going to be asked to move. You're going to be asked to stand up. You're going to be asked to take some actions and recreate and reinvent. So why not make that fun? Why not make that exciting? See the new things that are coming out into the world. See the new things that are starting to evolve and advance. See structures that might look like new monetary systems. See structures that are going to look like new medical systems. Start to sprout and rise. And as everyone is figuring it out, it will get figured out. It will take a little time, but know that it is getting figured out. It just cannot be what it is or what it has been. It's not service to all. The way it is now is not service to all. And if you want a service to all reality, if you want a fifth dimensional new earth, you have to help be part of that recreation. So for 2022, we say put on your ball caps and get ready to get in the game, because it's a great time to create. It's a great time to hold the faith and know that you are heading in the right direction, and you're going to get to experience a world like no one on this planet has ever experienced before. How exciting is that? Can you get on board with that energy? And that's what we have to say about that.
Very exciting. Mm-hmm. Somewhat daunting, but very exciting.
We're trying to, what is that? Look at this little pretty flashy thing over here while this is going on down here, maybe is what we're doing. It's like, keep the eye on the prize, because this other thing that's happening is getting you there. Okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I'm sure that the audience here is very aware of that, but it's just getting through the really difficult parts. But yeah, keeping that faith is the utmost, that it'll all work out perfectly.
Yes, then that is not an easy thing to do sometimes when everything around you looks like it's going to kick your butt. And sometimes it does kick your butt, but we need you to stand up, dust off, find your strength again, find your collective. And we say we have such a beautiful group right here. We have such an amazing dynamic of energy right here in these, and with the collective that comes to these videos, that watches these videos, all of you watching right now live, you can feel it. You can feel the buzz in the air of all of you here. We could feel it before we got started. We could feel that energy moving through. We have to stand together and keep sending each other that energy, keep sending it to the collective. All of you who are feeling the struggles right now, we send you love and light. We send you so much love and light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for being on the earth at this time to hold this frequency, this vibration, this dynamic fuel of energy that's going to help reinvent this entire planet into something much better. Such a powerful time. And so keep reminding yourself, it's such a powerful time. Yeah, that looked like it. And, that's not looking like I want it to, but what a powerful time. And I know I'm always taken care of, always affirm it. I'm always taken care of. Everything is working out in my favor. I'm always in the right place at the right time. Keep those thoughts and vibrations. You are a creator, and you are co-creating your reality. So as you keep those thoughts as high vibrational as you can, and we understand you're experiencing life too. We are not trying to make that sound easy to everybody, but do your best and surround yourself with others who are on the same path as you, so that you have each other to hold yourselves up, and keep encouraging each other, keep hanging in there, keep healing those wounds that are surfacing for you to heal. because that is part of the game right now, is everyone is healing these old wounds, these past wounds, the ancestral wounds, and the earth vibrational wounds. You know, the earth has held many wars on it. This earth has held many, many hard and very harsh realities and energies and vibrations it's absorbed. And so we're purging. And we do want to update. Since we're talking about that, let's just update a little bit. There are a lot of people working in the ley lines, a lot of people that are working on the what some might consider the tunnels of the earth, a lot of people that are working in repairing the crystal grids. And so know that this is all happening. Know that this is taking place. There are people that are holding a dome over the planet itself to hold in the gravity pull that needs to happen so the earth can go through this shift, so that everyone can survive the twisting and turning, the energy adjustments, the frequencies, the polar shifts, and everything that's going on in this planetary system right now. There is a whole collective that is holding and sustaining the gravity field so that earth can make it through this transition and all the living forms on the earth can survive it. How powerful is that?
That's amazing.
It is amazing. So there are so many things that are happening, so many things that aren't seen, that do take faith, that do take trust. And we hope to get as much of that information out to encourage everybody to know that there are systems in place. There are collectives that are helping work with those tunnels, those ley lines, the crystal grids, the meridians of the earth, the meridians of the collective concept of collective energy in the grid that goes around the outer layer of the earth. All of it is here being held and sustained, and you are getting assistance. You are getting help. What they can't do is come in and change the minds of humanity like that, you know, but they are sending the reinforcements. They are sending the help. You have all come in as volunteers to help make those shifts and changes in the human form so that humanity can shift out of this old pattern and construct and matrix and move into something that's more productive and way more fun to be in, right? Way more fun to participate in and feels good, the feel good energy. So give yourselves a pat on the back for the journey work that you have done to get us to this point. Very, very big things going on. You just may not get to feel them all just yet, but there will be a time where you get to know it all. And just know that that's coming, that things will be revealed. Too many things get revealed now, and any energies that are trying to stop that progress, we don't need to let them know all the things that are going on. Does that make sense? And so, so some of this, you just have to hold on and know that things are happening for the good and the betterment of this planet, and that things are evolving, and that you're holding this energy as a big catalyst for everything that is to come in this future. And we know, we have Tracy in here going, but what about all these things that are happening now that really don't look like they're changing? And we can't disagree with you. It does look like that. It looks like these things are happening, and these government officials will come forward with the next mandate and the next rule and the next thing. And we just want to keep holding you in these frequencies and keep telling you, think about it. Think about the 100th monkey. Think about the changing of the frequencies of the mind and putting it out into the collective grid for everyone to grab hold of. This, maybe you could think of it like a lab experiment, right? Maybe some of you are scientifically minded. What would it look like if everyone were able to grab a hold of this frequency that I just put out into the collective about how the world's going to look fabulous and everyone can heal and be enlightened? And maybe I'll put that out into the ethers for others to grab a hold of. And if everyone on this earth spent 1 minute in a positive thought all at the same time, could you imagine what would happen? It would be so powerful. That would be all we need. Yes, it would be all we need. And so that is where we're heading. We're heading in that direction. Anyways, we will let you ask the next question, as we know there's a lot to be covered today.
I think a lot of what you said in there may have answered several questions actually.
Oh.
But Unicorn Stables asks, are some of us sent back from the future to change our timeline to a positive one? If so, do we put our consciousness into an avatar that can hold the higher vibrational timeline?
So many layers to that. But the first one we want to say is, what a fantastic name. Unicorn.
Isn't it?
The magic of that alone should answer the question, right? There are many of you that are here in the physical body from another incarnation that is being held in another physical body outside of this planet. So in other words, you could be on a ship, you could be in another planetary system, being incubated, as one might say, in a pod while your consciousness was transferred down to the human form down here. You have to understand time is so much different in different parts of our galactic system, of our multiverse, and so on. And so many of you have watched all the sci-fi movies where they can show that, oh, we went down there for an hour, but 30 years went by, and those types of things. Well, it's the opposite. You could be in the incubator for an hour and have an entire lifetime on the human existence and you're home in time for dinner in your other reality. So yes, there are many things like that going on. You are holding many different embodiments at the same time. And Judy knows, she went through the braiding the threads of the universe with us. Your soul is very expansive. You embody many bodies at the same time. Many of those bodies are not even on this planetary system of Earth. They're out on other planets. They're having other experiences, and you have access to those. So some of you already know this version of the Arcturian Daniel. Arcturian Daniel, who is speaking right now, is an embodiment that Tracy's soul has in Arcturus. And that is why she can connect to Daniel. That is why we can speak through her, because they are part of the same soul system. And so you all have this. You all have this ability. You all have this connection. You all have counterparts in other galactic systems. Why do you have it? You have it so that you set this design up. It is so powerfully amazing. You have set this up. Tracy's soul set this up so that she would have an incarnation on the Earth and then other galactic incarnations so that she could communicate. That Earth body that she is occupying can also communicate to these other parts of the galactic system to bring in the information like we're doing for you right now. It was designed this way. And then she left herself clues and little stepping stones along the way to get her here. And she had to know that the version of her that she brought into this Earth right now was going to be strong enough to find her way to this point so she could be the channel to bring the messages to these other counterparts to herself so that the collective could get the messages, so that everyone can start to grow and expand on who they are, because every one of you can do this. And so you have also left yourself breadcrumbs, including finding these videos. How many got chills with that? So we say to you, you are very powerful beings. You are so much more than the embodiment that you are listening to us from right now. You can take yourself into these other realms, these other realities. We just call in the gatekeeper. Make sure you have the gatekeeper. There are lower frequencies that maybe are less desirable and don't give you the highest vibrational information. It's not good, bad, or indifferent, but if you want to have the highest, most beautiful frequencies coming in, if you want to have the highest outcome of information, we ask you to get the gatekeeper and set the bar so that you are only allowing in those higher frequencies, those more benevolent energies, okay? Now, we say this all to you because it's a very important time to connect to these energies. It's a very important time to expand the mind and allow for this to happen. It's very important. Let's use Judy again as an example. When she comes in as a commander of the Ashtar collective, Judy is one of those who has an embodiment on a ship. She brings her consciousness into the body of Judy, and when she needs to, she brings it back to the body on the ship to bring back information. She probably has more stories she could tell around that herself, but She
I
is.
remember.
Would you agree, though, that you are one of the ones that this question is referring to? Do we have an embodiment somewhere else? Is our consciousness being transferred? Yes, it very well could be. Not for everybody, but yes, that could be. And if it resonates for you, then it could be so. Just like in the movie Avatar, where they take his consciousness and put it in the avatar so that he can interact with the beings on that planet. And so we say to you, why do you think these movies are there? But you already know that. And there's so much more to learn, so much more to this, so much more expansion to be had. So why not be a part of that discovery? Why not jump into this and just say, okay, what else? Show me the truth, and bring it in the highest vibration, the highest frequency possible. And join in on that journey. Find your truth. You don't have to believe everything we say. And we always tell you, use discernment. If this does not feel right to you, do not take it. It is not for you. It's not for you at this time, whatever it is. Do not take it. If you resonate with it, go find out why. We love to see you explore that. It is good. Don't always just take our word for everything. Okay? Is there any more that you would want to know about that, Judy?
Well, that's actually answered Josh's question, but he did ask why we can't remember all these other existences in our human form.
We're going to take you to a little scenario. Let's have some fun with that question. Why can't we remember? All of you have always have at some point been maybe grocery shopping or clothes shopping or at the mall with your parents, and all of a sudden you're looking at something and they walk off and they don't realize you're not with them, and then you lost your mommy and daddy and you're scared to death, right? That's a very terrifying feeling, to not know where your mother and your father are. You feel lost, you feel alone, you feel scared, you feel a lot out of sorts. Does that make sense? And so this is why you can't remember, because you are coming from planetary systems that are filled with love, filled with collective consciousness, filled with the what's good for one is good for all kind of a mentality. You come from a place that supports you. You come from a place that you can create from, that you can manifest from, that you love on levels so deep that you could not even remember in this embodiment how deep that love can go. You are expansive, beautiful, and wonderful. So do you think that would be a memory that you could have on this earth in this density and in this harshness, and not be so homesick that you would want to check yourself out? The longing that you would have to go home to that other energy would be too intense. So you need to forget. Also, you are in a simulation where you are not allowed to remember. That's part of the Earth agreement. That's part of the contract to be in this system. You don't remember where you came from. You have free will, and you have to figure it out on your journey, right? Oh, what fun that game is, isn't it? And so it is part of what you have taken on to evolve and help evolve the Earth. You are still an Earth soul. Maybe we should go into that. You are still an Earth soul, having an Earth embodiment where you are evolving the embodiment that you came into. Tracy is evolving her soul. Every time something comes up, she's got to go look at that and deal with it and figure it out and find out, why is that making me feel the way it is? Because again, we'll go back to the 100th monkey. Once she figures it out, she puts it into the collective. Once you figure it out on your path and your journey, you put it into the collective. And you know what? It makes it so much easier for the next person and the next person and the next person, until everybody has it figured out, you see. So you're still on that soul journey, and you had to take on the experiences that you did because it was very important for you to pull in the frequencies of some of the darkest stuff that happens on this planet: the abuse, the sex abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse, the feeling bipolar, ADD, ADHD, whatever, you know, the whole gamut, all of it, the confusion, the depression, all of it. You pull it all in because you have to figure out how to overcome it. And when you overcome it, you put it into the grid. And when you put it into the grid, then the next person that is dealing with those same issues can go, oh my gosh, I know how to get out of this now. And all of a sudden, boom, they're out of it. We want to use We want to use the awakening as part of that. For those of you who have started way, 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 way back, let's call them the 70s children, right? Those 70s, 50s even, the 50s, 60s, 70s, everybody that was coming in, and they're just starting to get this whole idea of the new age and the awakening and da 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 da, and working their little buns off to get to this point where we are today. And then we have COVID hit, and then thousands upon thousands of people are starting to get bored at home, and they start deep diving and searching for answers and looking for happiness, and they start finding people like Dolores Cannon and Wayne Dyer and whoever else is one of those inspirational new agey speakers. And within 3 months, boom, they're caught up. They're caught up to everyone that just spent a lifetime getting here. And you've all seen it happen, haven't you? You've all seen it happen where somebody just picked up a book 6 months ago and already they've changed their lives. They're going to go up into the mountains and meditate for 6 months, whatever it is. But you've seen it happen, the Great Awakening in a rapid sense. And it's because the information is now there. All of those first waivers and second waivers, especially the first waivers, your job is done. You did it. It's there. You put it in the ethers, you put it in the collective. And now everybody has those apples to pick from, right? Let's go to Adam and Eve. You're picking the apples and you're eating them and you're getting the knowledge. And so as you are evolving through that, everything is like that. Everything, you're putting all this information out there, the lives you chose. So yes, you're forgiving where you came from because you have a job to do here. And you can't do that job if you're constantly thinking about all those other things and wishing I was on that planet. And I liked being the tree people and I liked being over in the water world. And so then it makes it harder to be here in this world and be present with what you're doing here. And we're surprised we even remembered the question at this point, Judy, just to let you know. But we do want to say there is always a reason for what's happening, even for those that have transferred from other embodiments, just like what we were talking about, moving from that embodiment to an earth embodiment. Even those need to forget where they came from. They have the amnesia because, again, it's not fair, right? It's not fair to sit down in a classroom with a bunch of tests and you're the one with the cheat sheet. You got all the information. It doesn't work like that. You have to go find that in your conscious state from here in order for this to evolve and ascend in the correct way. If you want to bring in information like we're doing in this regard with channeling, or however else you want to bring that in through writing, through art, through song, through whatever you're doing, that's a beautiful way to bring it in. But you're doing it through, you're consciously making that agreement to bring it through this way. You're not just coming in with all this knowledge and making all these changes. It is still an evolution of humankind. And in order for the masses of humankind to be able to grab onto those frequencies, you have to do, you're doing the work so that it can be put into the ethers. So we hope that that makes sense to you. There's a lot of layers to it.
Fabulous answer. Very good. So much information.
There is a lot of information. Yes, we told you the buzz is high today. Lots of information. Mm-hmm.
All right. We have a question from Corey. And Corey would like to know, what is the Ashtar command and what is its purpose?
We knew that this one was coming. We knew that it was coming because Judy has been so excited about this one. What is the Ashtar command? The Ashtar command is no different than, say, the Nordics or the Palladians or the mantis beings or the giants or the tall whites and blah, de, blah, de, blah. We can keep going. And of course, the Arcturians. So the Anchar, is that right? Is that the one you asked about?
Ashtar.
Ashtar. The Ashtar collective, let's ask them. Let's just ask them. Let's go into that. And no, Judy, we don't mean you. You can breathe. You can breathe.
Thank you.
Okay, there's many different Ashtar collectives around. There are motherships around the globe and in not far off places from space from where we are. There are some of the collectives are in the inner earth. Some of them are monitoring the frequencies they're part of that collective that is holding the dome, right? Holding the gravity dome. Ooh, that gave us chills. It they're working with the mantis beings to help bring in telepathy, to help bring in the advanced intuitive. We're like, oh, that's fancy, the advanced intuitive. Sorry, we are getting too much into that. But bringing in the heightened awareness, There are many collectives working with that right now. We like it. Sorry, we take humor in many things. And so they say, we are shadowing you right now. We are shadowing you. The one that asked the question, Corey, you have, you're working with a large Ashtar collective. Actually, it wouldn't do you too much harm if you and Judy connected, because you are in similar collectives. You're doing similar work here. You're watching and monitoring we're hearing surface world. So you're making sure that the surface world, the energy that is being brought into the planet to help through this ascension process, is not too intense. So it is also, we all have heard of the symptoms of the shift. Yes, where I get headaches. Oh, I'm feeling nausea. Oh, I get dizzy spells. Oh, this, that, and the other. There's this whole list of ascension symptoms. You guys are monitoring that to make sure that it is not too intense for those that are stepping into their awakening. Now, the ones that haven't stepped into the awakening yet, they're missing out on all the frequencies. So pretend that you've got a line that's drawn here, and you got the heavier, we don't like using words like that, but the lower frequencies are here and the higher frequencies are here. When you reach that awakening, you start crossing this line, right? You start crossing it. And so those who are not quite tuned into any of the ascension frequencies yet, they're kind of like, you don't have to watch them, you don't have to worry about them. But when they hit that crossing that line point, are they going to be able to sustain all the information that's coming in, all the downloads that are coming in? Like we said, everyone is fast tracking now. Once they get some information, they become the sponge and they go down every rabbit hole, and they find every form of enlightenment, and they become shamans and Reiki masters and everything else, right? And so part of what is happening is they are monitoring the surface world to make sure the surface world is going to be accommodating to those that are entering into their awakening. That is the simpler answer. And that is one of the tasks that is at hand. We can't even just narrow it down. The Ashtar, the Pleiadians, all of the collectives that are here assisting right now are working on multiple levels. You got the inner earth beings that are working on holding, sustaining, and sending loving energy through the earth and through the crystal grids and through the ley lines, healing from the inside, working their way up. Then you got the ones that are holding the dome. You've got they're participating in holding that frequency. They're not the only collective doing that. So if you go, oh wait, I thought my collective was doing that, and I'm part of this group. Well, don't worry. There's several groups doing that. It takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise this baby. And so we've got, you're basically doing many different things. You're bringing in frequencies through the physical body, through the enlightenment codes that you are able to hold and sustain within your own frequencies. You're bringing that in. There is a special way, Corey, you're bringing it in either through writing, or we're seeing symbols coming into your crown chakra. And we don't know if you write them out or if you're speaking them or what you're doing, but you are bringing those symbols out into the physical world through your embodiment in some way. Maybe it's just something you carry in your auric field, and everywhere you go, it downloads into that location. We feel a lot of energy coming off of you. We feel a lot of energy going into the planet. We see a yellow ray of light that comes through you. So you might be a keeper of the yellow ray in the earth realm at this time. If that sounds familiar, then great. If not, remember, use discernment. You don't have to take everything we say. And we see also Saturn rings. We see Saturn, some connection with Saturn coming in. frequencies or energies that Saturn is putting out are beneficial, and you help pull that frequency into the planet as well. There are so many different things. We could keep going. So we're not going to. Just if you feel like you're doing a certain part with the Ashtar, trust it. Most likely you are, and you are working with a collective. So if you feel like you are getting information, then trust that, because you are. You sit on a council with this collective, and what is the word that they want us to say? It's like you do the mind crunching. You put out different scenarios, you look at different outcomes, you kind of oversee things and look at them before bringing them into the planet. So you are looking at all your options. You are the ones that oversee and monitor that type of thing. If there's a new level of technology that might be coming in or something of that nature, when you sit on the council, you decide how much of that are we going to put into the ethers at this time, and who are we flooding that and directing that to. So you do play a big part in bringing information into the planet. Okay, enough. We'll let you ask the next.
Hazel would like to know what is really going on at an energetic level when we feel unmotivated or psychological fatigue, especially when there is, excuse me, no obvious triggering reason or event.
So psychological or emotional fatigue?
Yeah, psychological fatigue, yes, and feeling unmotivated when there's no obvious triggering reason or event.
And for her particularly, we are seeing that she is, we love the way this stuff comes in. She is mending the cracks of the collective mind. And so when she mends the cracks of the collective mind, she is taking on the burdens of the collective, the fear of the collective. And purging might be a good word. We've used that before in other videos. If you are a purger, become the eye of the storm. Do not let the energy move through you. Let it be outside of you. Create an energy tunnel outside of you that you move the purging energies to transmute them, so that it doesn't run through your body. You are not absorbing it. You are not being the conduit for it. You are creating the conduit for it outside of yourself. But in this particular case, it feels like the energy comes from a collective. So rather that is a family collective, a friend collective, the earth collective, could be all those. The mind is absorbing that, the psychological parts of that, watching too much television or seeing too many things on TV. It is like the diet, right? You've got to decide what you're going to put into the input facilitators of the body. You don't want to put in too much overload of information of the negative things that are going on, because you cannot be a facilitator of light if you're bogged down by the heaviness. There is a lot of people that are doing that right now. And so possibly a purger of the frequencies of all of the thoughts that go into all the negativity. It's feeding it, right? And we all know how that works energetically. You get what you put your mind on. So when the heaviness of the mind, the depression, the frequencies feel dense and low and almost even too heavy to climb out of, is what we're seeing. It's like it gets really depressing. It is, the best advice we have is to go hug a tree, really. But we want you to know that you could find nature, you could find, put your feet in the soil. We know for some of you it's wintertime, maybe that's not desirable. We're feeling some of that energy, so we just want to tap into that a little bit, just enough to see what it is. It is very possible, the name is Hazel, is that the one we're talking to?
Yes.
So Hazel, it's very possible that you have somebody in your near circle that's going through a dark night of the soul. That is where we feel like we're going, a dark night of the soul, and it's not yours. We see a thread going to you, and maybe you made some sort of, unknowingly made some sort of contract with this person to help them with the dark night of the soul, but you're not helping them. So cut the cord to that. We want to cut the cord to that. With your permission, of course, we're going to come in and we're going to ask for your counsels and the light workers, your benevolent beings, known and unknown to you, to come in and work through that, cut the cords to that. We're going to send love, light, and healing to the one that is actually experiencing the dark night of the soul. May the pathways be lit for this one that you love so dearly. And may they be shown the way to get out of their own dark night of the soul with every lesson they agreed to come in and experience, being part of the outcome of that. May they take the short route and the easy route in reverse of the long one. We ask that they are surrounded by their light workers, that they are surrounded by their collectives, and that they are surrounded by the archangels to help them to cut the cords and to move out of the density of the dark energy. We call that in for anyone going through the dark night of the soul at this time. And we especially call it in for all you light workers who are doing the same and carrying that energy for others. We lift that off of you. We call it in as healed and lifted into the light and transmuted. And that all those who are dealing with this are receiving high frequency energies to recharge them and are receiving their answered prayers and blessings and miracles. And so it is, yes? What is our next question?
Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Amy asked about some anomalies that she has wondered about. She wants to know if these things are real and can you explain about them? First of all, the clouds shaped like saucers.
Well, we'd like to talk about the anomaly that's called Amy.
Right.
All the miracles, all the blessings, yes. Are those saucers? Of course they are, yes. They are, there are so many, how do we want to say this? There are many, many crafts all around you. We have talked about this. It's been a while since we've talked about this. When you step outside and you feel like there is a ceiling and it's not just the open sky, pay attention. Go outside. Does it feel like it's open or does it feel like there's a ceiling there? Just like when you're inside, you can sense that you are inside a building. You sense it. You can feel the walls. You can feel the energy of being in the enclosure. So when you step outside and you can feel or sense that, that is one clue that you have craft over top of you. They are mirroring the sky to you. They're mirroring the solar system, whatever. You could still get out your binoculars and see all the stars because they are a mirror image of everything. And you look right through them, in other words. And so the knowingness is the sensing. Get in tune with that. Feel the sensing of it. The circular openings in the clouds. Yes, that is. Remember we said you will breadcrumb yourself to give yourself those little clues to get you home, to get you to that thing that you came here to do, to line you up and synchronize you. Well, those circular holes in the clouds, when you look up at them, how do you not remember where you came from? It is a switch that gets turned on inside of you. It is a clue to remind you who you are. And on the subconscious level, you know exactly what that is. You even know what group is in that ship that's floating over that cloud or that opening in the cloud. And yes, there are clouds that are shaped like ships. There are openings within the clouds that are making you wonder, well, why is that? Why is it in a perfect circle like that? Why is it opening like that? There are certain mountains that you can look at and you can say, what is it about that mountain over there? There's something about it that's pulling my attention. And you will sense that there is energy and vibration and frequency there that is familiar to you from a home planet that you came from. And they're occupying at the time the space within that mountain. They are putting their energy there. They are focusing a beam of energy there to put it into the planet. Whatever it might be, you have these extraordinary sensories. And Amy, you have them. You have the ability to communicate. You have the ability to ask questions. not just to us, but ask them to your collective. What is that? Where is that coming from? And then trust the answers that you're getting back. If it feels right, go for it. Trust it. Who are you hurting by trusting those answers? You're just creating a most magical reality. And that in that magic, you start seeing more and more truth. And in that truth, you start experiencing more and more of your desires and manifestations coming true, and more of your dreams that you never thought would ever manifest and be created are now starting to evolve and be created all around you, all around the people you love. And for others that you are seeing, maybe you are seeing everybody else have what you want. We're not sure why we're going here, but somebody needs to hear this because they need to understand. One, if you walk out in the world and it feels like everyone else has what you want and you go to a place of jealousy of that, like the world's just rubbing it in your face. One, go heal that. That's the thing that needs healed right now, because here's the truth of the matter. You walk outside and you see everyone around you has what you want. That spirit's saying, look, this is evidence to you that you can have it too. You just need to believe you're worthy. And what we're showing you isn't rubbing it in your face. We're saying, look, you can manifest this so well that you are manifesting being around all these people that already have it because you're that close to getting it yourself. Now, see yourself as worthy. See yourself as deserving. See yourself in that same scenario. And then it'll soon be yours as well. So don't look at it as it's being rubbed in your face. Look at it as it's being shown to you how close you are to obtaining the thing of desire, the manifestation. And so somebody needed to hear that. So back to the anomalies, right? That was quite a sidetrack. But
well, there were two other parts to that too, which was the light columns coming from the ground and clouds that look like cities in the sky.
We don't know where the questions are because, yes, just like we said in the mountains, you feel the vibration. You look at the mountain, you say, I feel that vibration. It feels like home. Those light beams that are coming in. Again, codes, different frequencies, vibrations, right there in plain sight. And why? It's always happened. It's always been around you. You just have never seen it before. So it's another sign to you that you are shifting, that you are evolving, that you are starting to believe. And when you believe, you are starting to see. You hear, oh, so often, oh, the veil's getting so thin. Is it? It's not thin for Joe Blow over here that's still working in the factory, going home, working 9 to 5, get up in the morning, do it again. Maybe that veil isn't so thin for him. It's thin for you because you're evolving, because you're believing. And every time you believe, that veil gets thinner and thinner and you start to see. How many of you have experienced fairies now? How many of you have experienced, oh, what was that? What was that flash of light over there? What was that orb that I just saw? What is that over here? What's that feeling I'm getting in the corner of my bedroom? And then you see this little spark of light. You are seeing things that you haven't seen before because you are believing. It is just like the Peter Pan movie, right? Faith, trust, pixie dust, and a little bit of faith, right? You just got to believe, and then you can see it. And so we love how all the instructions are right there in the children's cartoons. Just go watch all the cartoons and start putting it together. You're going to have it all. But it's a beautiful thing to thin that veil, thin that veil, thin that veil, make those connections, get your galactic partners involved, start communicating with them, start expanding yourself out into the other realms to see all the other beautiful things that you're capable of doing. Because now that you are aware, remember you talked about earlier in one of the other questions, why do we forget? Well, guess what? Why are you remembering? Because now you're remembering, you're not forgetting. You are consciously here listening right now, with the instructions to go outside of yourself, go explore those other worlds, go remind yourself who you are. And guess what? You get to remember it because you are now there. The veil is thin. You don't need to forget anymore because now you have built yourself up into a vibration where you can hold and sustain that memory without the longing to go home, because now you know how to go home and visit. Doesn't that take away homesickness when you get to go visit? But before you were awake, you didn't know how to go home and visit. So that wouldn't be a benefit for you to remember. Now you can remember, now you can go home, now you can go visit all the different realms and realities and experiences that you've had, and go on to the ships and go to the collectives, go to the Star Nation, go to all these different beautiful places, all these different ships. They say, sure, come on aboard. You can come to our ship. You can come over here and visit this planet. They want to welcome you. They're excited when you remember, because it is showing that all the work that everybody's been doing on the evolution in raising the vibration and the frequency and the awareness is working. Some of you, sorry, we're going to correct that. All of you. That's interesting. All of you listening have hybrid children. Yes, Judy, you too. All of you have hybrid children. You go to visit them. Why not go and do it in the mind's eye right now, or after this show, or after this YouTube video? Sit with it. Go ask to see your children or experience their frequency and vibration. They're off-planet hybrid children. You all have them. Why not go explore that in the conscious mind so that you have the memory? What else did you have, Judy?
That was a very interesting diversion there. Quite emotional too. I'd just like to check in on Tracy and her energy. Is she holding up to continue?
We could go, let's go about another 15 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Let me ask you this. How many questions do you have left?
Heaps. Probably about...
we will do better to answer them quicker then.
Okay. So Mimi would like to know, as a collective, what can we do to speed up the process of the ascension process?
Ask that one again.
As a collective, what can we do to speed up the ascension process?
Nothing. Oh, do you want us to elaborate on that? Well, everything that we've already spoken about, if you just follow all of that guidance from earlier, be in love, heal the parts that are coming up for you, do your best actually to speed up the ascension process. Everyone go on their own individual journey to find their happiness, to heal their hearts, to heal their wounds. When it surfaces, do your thing to heal that thing that surfaces to heal, because we are now in a place where we have to heal the individual. So all of those light workers who completed their first task, you are on the second task now, which is to find your bliss. Why? Because that's what you're putting into the collective. And as you find your bliss, then guess what? Maybe what took you 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years to find your bliss, you're going to put it in the ethers. And when the next run of people is ready to get to that point, they're going to do it in 1 month, 3 weeks, whatever. It's going to be uber fast. And then the next group, it's going to be almost instant. So it's very important that you set the bar for that you get out there, you heal yourselves, you find your happiness, you heal self, heal self, heal self. That's how you do it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Northern Lights asks, is our divine counterpart the counterpart to our higher self? Or is our higher self something different?
Again, that one might be a little too convoluted. Everyone here on the earth plane is looking for a divine counterpart. Makes sense, because you are in a world where you have the sexuality, you have the intimacy, you have the male and female. Not all existences have all of this to deal with. Some of them just come from a love frequency, and there is no masculine, feminine. There just is. There is a balance of both energies. What we say to you is a divine counterpart, and this is going to be up to interpretation. A divine counterpart is going to be somebody that you designed, that you have contracts with, either, we don't even want to say in an etherical realm. Everybody has divine counterparts, so to speak, in etherical realms to help them through and navigate through this experience as the human. You also have contracted frequency match partners. How about we call it that? Frequency match partners that will feel like a divine counterpart to you. Soulmates, deep soul connections that you have designed to bump into in your incarnation while here, to also help you navigate through this reality so that you don't do it alone. So that can come in the form of friendships, it can come in the form of lovers, it can come in the form of siblings or parents, soul families. Some of them you'll have deep connections with, but what you don't realize is that some of these divine counterparts are the abusers. If the abusers are the ones that got you to go into the deepest depths of yourself and then awaken into your soul's journey, then they are a divine counterpart. So see why that is a tricky question. There's so much to the soul connections that you have on this planet. Have you all designed for soulmates to be here with you? Yes, and you run into them and you have relationships with them, and some of them are meant to be long and some of them are meant to be shorter. And we just say, try not to overthink it. If somebody shows up in your life and you are drawn to them, explore it. Explore it until you're no longer drawn to them, and then you don't explore it. Or maybe your design is to do the entire lifetime together. Everyone is different. But if someone is showing up in your life and you feel drawn to them and them to you, then there is something there for you to learn from it, to grow from it, to do together, to expand together, to help evolve together. So trust it, whether it's for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter. Everybody on earth wants their true love, right? And right now we are in the fast track to ascension. So where maybe in years past, 2 people get married and they live their entire lives together. We don't have time for that anymore. That takes lifetimes to get where you're getting now in this one lifetime, where you have maybe people coming and going out of your life and it feels chaotic because you wish that you just had that one person. But maybe you don't get to do that in this lifetime. Maybe you said, okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to have 5 relationships, because those 5 relationships are going to evolve me in one lifetime what would take me 5 or 6 lifetimes to do otherwise. You are fast tracking now. You are part of the fast track program, right? So if you feel like you are bumping through a lot of different relationships, it's because you designed it that way, because you are fast tracking to the evolution of the soul. Does that make sense?
Well, that leads in beautifully to the next question from Christina, which was she's constantly thinking of a person who she was romantically involved with and no longer sees. And she would like to know if she's separated because he is not developing spiritually or something else. And how does she get over it?
That is a good question. We're just trying to tap into that very individual sense of it. There was something that was not complete there. And what was the name? Kimberly, did you say?
Christina.
So if there's a Kimberly out there listening, this might be for you too. Christina, there was something there that did not get complete. Your soul is feeling it. Do not worry. Ask your soul to let this go, because it's going to evolve for you in another way and a much more, with a much more beautiful outcome. And so we don't want to say the other person isn't evolving. There was a free will choice to step away, because it was a difficult or very intense connection, very intense energy, and the counterpart, the soul didn't, so much there. The soul chose to step away. And so there was an incompletion there for whatever the contract was, whatever it was you came together to do. Do not worry. There is another one that's being pulled to you that's going to complete that cycle with you and with a much better outcome. So when you say, how do I heal that, or how do I move forward with that? Thank this one for getting you evolved as much as they could. Thank you for evolving me to this point. I know, I'm sorry we didn't get to complete the task, but I need to move forward now. So see yourself separating completely and moving forward. There is a chance that as you pull your energy away completely from this other person, that they will get something they need out of that. They'll level up and they'll be the one that comes back and ready to finish this with you. But don't count on that. Just know that for you, you have to separate it, pull it away so that you can move forward, and there will be another counterpart that comes in. So don't get attached to it being anyone in particular. Just know that the feelings will evolve and be everything you ever hoped it to be. Okay? We hope that helped. Again, the relationship stuff is so tricky because it is very convoluted. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of lifetimes and timelines involved in that. So whatever doesn't fit, whatever doesn't resonate, please don't take it. And also know anything future paced can change, because once you look at it, you change it. Once we looked at that, we changed it. You have more information than you had before. So now you can change outcomes. You can move to different timelines. So if it doesn't line up exactly like we said, don't worry about it. Just know that you are on the highest outcome available to you. Does that make sense too? To that once you look at it now, it's changed. So don't get attached to what we're saying, because it could fall in differently than what we just explained because we changed it by looking at it.
Okay, I'm just skimming through some of the other questions here, and a lot of what you said today has more than answered these questions, but we are at that 15-minute mark again. So if you want to pull out one more question, if you see one that might be significant, go ahead and pull that one out. Otherwise, we can bring this to a close. Okay. There's one for you from TC's Life. It says, in Daniel's world, or your world, how much diversity as regards things like biodiversity and neurodiversity is there among your peoples, and how is that handled by your society?
We're not sure if we fully understand that question, but when in our society, we come from a collective consciousness. So it is a little bit more evolved, one might say, than what you're experiencing here on Earth. We do not have duality. We are a collective embodiment of what's, when one makes a decision. So let's say I make a decision, Daniel makes a decision. If that decision would hurt somebody else, that would affect the collective, not just one individual. Does that make sense? It is a frequency that vibrates out to everyone. And so it brings to attention a lot of, everything comes from a higher vibration. So the thought to even do something that would harm anyone in the collective doesn't even happen. It is a different type of reality that would be hard to explain to the human realm, but there is individuality and collective consciousness all existing at the same time. There is telepathy, there is love, there is companionship, there is compassion, there's kindness. There is not jealousy, there is not ownership of something, there is not possession of something. Does that make sense? So we hope that gives you some idea. It is hard to explain in a world where you live in a house that maybe you own or you rent or you drive a vehicle or you do this or you do that. There is no ownership of anything, anyone. We don't have pets, although we do enjoy Tracy's pets, but we don't own anything. And our food sources, our nourishment, we are not consumers because it tastes good. We are consumers because it is the nourishment that we need for the body. And we consume in the way of the energy in the air that we're breathing. We consume in the way that any of the substances on our planet that are nourishing to our body, but we do not consume excess amounts of that. We consume what we need. We drink what we need. And so we are more conscious and aware of the physical being as well. Our minds can, Yeah, speaking of minds, we're dealing with a fading one. And so what we want to say though is our minds are a little more evolved than the human mind. And so there's much more to these thought processes and equations. And the Arcturians are we're very fun beings. We have a good sense of humor and we enjoy having fun, but we also are very telepathic. We enjoy evolving mathematical problems. We enjoy doing a lot of, we like to think, but we also like to have fun with it. We enjoy the frequencies of expansion. And you think you have fun when we take you out in the ethers. Can you imagine what it's like for us when we go out into the ethers and we're seeing a whole nother level to that dimension than what you see? And so there is a lot to be experienced by just tapping into your collectives. If you are connecting to the Arcturians, ask to sit in the mind of an Arcturian for a moment and see what that might be like, or go out into the expansion through their point of view and see if you can collect anything bigger than you have already just by doing that on your own. You all have access to so many things, and this is where we will wrap it up. You all have so much access. You are not the bodies that you are experiencing right now. Use that body to have the physical experiences of this reality. Enjoy it, have fun, and enjoy the taste of the food. Enjoy the ability to have the physical body to move around, to have experiences, to feel touch, to have the emotions, to do it all. Enjoy that piece, because not all the experiences that you will have when you leave this body give you the same opportunities that this body gives you. So why not find the ways to enjoy the experience that you are in and stay out of the fear, stay out of the turmoil, stay out of the drama, and step into enlightenment, step into joy, step into playfulness, step into childlike wonderment. You get to make choices. Choose that. It's so much more fun. And with all of that, we thank you so much, Judy, for being our guide through this process. And we thank everyone that's here watching with us today. We thank everyone that has joined us in this collective and who will be watching in the future. We thank you all for being here and for all the love that you give and your beautiful generosity, your beautiful energies. Thank you so much. And with that, we are going to bring Tracy back. Thank you for letting us be a part of your experience today, and thank you for being part of ours.
Thank you, Daniel. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Judy. All right. Whew, those were some big questions today. My head.
Big answers, yeah.
Yeah. But
although we didn't get through all the questions, there's a lot of information in there that would have answered many of those questions. So
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are just, feeling the holding pattern, and because it's a holding pattern, they want to feel like they might want to check out and that. But, there was just so much that Daniel said today. It was just excellent, absolutely excellent.
I love it.
So how are you feeling after that today?
Oh, I feel like I could take a nap. And I still get to do the metaphysical hour tonight with Julia, so that'll be fun. I'll bring some more fun into that. But as I'm like, yeah, Julia, what? But Judy, what do you have for the collective? What would you like to share with people as you're being interactive with them right now with the questions and just bringing the information through with me?
The thought occurred to me during the week that every single question that is asked has relevance for absolutely everybody. And it was just as Daniel was explaining about, we work through things and resolve it within ourselves and it goes out. And then other people tap into that. So everything that everybody asks applies to everybody, and they can all gain so much out of all the answers. It's, I mean, particularly after the last one, every single question, there was a resonance there for me. And I'm sure it must be the same. It's got to be the same for everybody, because in essence, we're all one anyway. So
yeah, yes,
we're all one. So what applies to one applies to everybody else. So We're all feeling this on different levels.
Yeah.
Some it's more obvious, and others it's not so obvious, but the answers remain consistent for everybody.
I love that. Yay. Well, I think that we're done here unless there's anything else you want to share. I thank everyone for being here with us. And yeah, that was some powerful energy. Like we were feeling that before we got started. And I was like, man, why am I feeling so anxious? And then I realized, oh yeah, that's the same feeling that I get when they're all waiting to come in and I'm not ready yet. They're all like, so how much fun that was. Thank you to everyone that did show up for the live, and to everyone that's watching this later. Big love to all of you. I am going to say, please click like. It helps to share the video. And I'm going to also attach some information down below in the description box. 30% off of any of the Daniel workshops on my website. That's on the online store. Do you have anything that you have coming up? Any classes, anything going on?
Not as yet, but I can certainly reinforce the sheer joy of doing those workshops and the expansion that comes with them. I've done every single one, and they have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. One more time, how do people find you, Judy?
mylifespurpose.com.au. Very easy.
Very easy. Yes. And again, Judy is a QHHT level 3 practitioner for Dolores Cannon's method. And you can find her on qhhtofficial.com as well as you can find me there too. I'm in Oregon. She's in Australia. So
what part of Victoria?
Victoria. Beautiful. So, all right. No excuses, you guys. Go get your sessions. All right, everybody. I get the pleasure now figuring out how to end this video. So love you all. I think I might have found it, maybe. Okay, no, that's not doing it yet. There it is. Okay, bye, everybody.